A major relief came for the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs in February this year when it got a sukuk issuance of 10.4 billion naira check to rehabilitate roads in the Niger Delta. While handing over supervision of the East-West Road project, Senator Akpabio said he had directed that the 10.4 billion naira sukuk issuance be channeled to the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to enable it to have readily available funds to start off from where the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs stopped. Senator Akpabio also advised the Ministry of Works and Housing to focus on the Eleme Junction axis, which is evidently the most challenging part in sections 1 to 4 of the 338-kilometer long East-West Road.
The sum of 10.4 billion is awaiting release to the Ministry of Niger Delta, but I've directed that it should be released to the East-West Road account that will be controlled by the Ministry of Works. The sections 0 to 15, which is starting from Eleme Junction all the way to Port Harcourt, it's about 15 kilometers. That's the section that affects the people of Ogoni directly. To get cracking, you have to look at that section seriously, because that section is like the main artery.
Speaking during the handover ceremony, Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola, who described the Niger Delta where the East-West Road project is ongoing as a difficult terrain, acknowledged that substantial progress had been achieved on the project.
Progress has been made without a doubt from 2009 to now. Sometimes, unfortunately, that progress is not reported because of the passion with which the uncompleted part is reported. So I think it is important to acknowledge that whilst there is work to be done, substantial work has been done, and that is the rainforest of Nigeria, one of the most difficult places to undertake construction because of the soil conditions.
His Excellency Babatunde Fashola, a former governor of Lagos State, directed officials of his ministry to immediately swing into action and solicited the cooperation of communities in the Niger Delta to allow for a speedy completion of the East-West Road reconstruction project in line with President Buhari's directive.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Member representing Sagbama Ikirimo Federal Constituency of Bayelsa State in the House of Representatives, Honorable Fred Agbedi has commissioned the second batch of his constituency projects, including a primary school at Isoni, as well as an internal road at Toruebeni, both in Sagbama local government area of Bayelsa State. Our correspondent Tekena Amilforo reports that the federal lawmaker and his entourage were accorded a warm reception by the benefiting communities.
I hereby commission this 7 classroom and the ancillary services that have been provided for the good use of our children, of mankind, to the glory of God.
It was the commissioning of a renovated block of 7 classrooms at Community Primary School Isoni in Sagbama local government area of Bayelsa State. The project for the renovation of the school was facilitated by member representing Sagbama Ikirimo Federal Constituency of Bayelsa State in the House of Representatives, Honorable Fred Agbedi, as part of his constituency project. Headmaster of Community Primary School Isoni Solomon Ogunuku and Chief Augustine Logbenwe, a PDP stalwart in Ikirimo, maintained that the project reflects the purposeful stride of a focused political representative in the National Assembly.
The school was so bad that we were afraid to even go in to teach. Everyone is very happy. The children can now sit well to learn.
The citizens of Ikirimo and Sagbama, they are very lucky to have somebody like Honorable Frederick Agbedi, because whatever he promises, he makes efforts to fulfill the promises.
The recent commissioning of 5 projects in 2 batches was rounded off at Toruebeni in Sagbama local government area, where Honorable Agbedi, as part of his constituency projects, facilitated the construction of an internal road to ease transport and promote economic development in the area. Members of Toruebeni community who hinted that the road was impassable before this time expressed gratitude to Honorable Agbedi for his intervention.
Before now, we take the waka the road before. You know, when rain don't fall, you need to fold your trousers and every other thing. But for now, rain follow, rain no follow. We will drive, enter town.
Construction of the internal road at Torebeni was facilitated by Honorable Agbedi while he was a member of the House Committee on Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA. At the commissioning of the project, the federal lawmaker expressed dissatisfaction with the scope of construction, which he said did not cover a long stretch that was otherwise critical to the overall development of the community.
I want to use this opportunity to call on the Federal Road Maintenance Agency to quickly intervene in this Torebeni Federal Road to ensure that the hitherto unfinished field portion that is posing challenge to transmitters and other users of the road be maintained as quickly as possible to ease vehicular movement in this road.
On each visit during his recent tour of communities in Sagbama Ekirimo Federal Constituency to commission several projects, Honorable Fred Agbedi was accorded a warm reception. For the benefiting communities, it was time to celebrate a lawmaker who truly appreciates the essence of political representation.
Inside the Niger Delta.
The Ijors, Isokus, Ishikiris, and the Urobos together form the three I's and U that make up Delta South Senatorial District. Let's join hands in unity to develop Delta South and make it great. Sir Ayodele Ogogo Utihiwa says, think Delta South, think development.
Azikel Group. Oil and gas, dredging, power and air transportation. Azikel Group, petroleum product sufficiency, energy sustainability, and infrastructure development.
Everything home, all in one place. Visit Home Options today at 22 Aba Port Harcourt Express Road, Port Harcourt, River State, or call 080-998-08678 or 080-331-34055 or visit our website www.homeoptionsng.com.
Member representing Bayelsa West Senatorial District in the Senate, Senator Henry Seraka Dixon says he has decided to seek re-election on popular demand. Senator Dixon, immediate past governor of Bayelsa State, gave the indication recently in Abuja, where he hosted political leaders and their supporters in the Sagbama and Ekirimo local government areas who, after purchasing expression of interest on senatorial nomination forms on his behalf, urged him to continue with his impactful representation in the Red Chamber.
Last week, prominent political leaders and their followers from Sagbama and the Ekirimo local government areas in Bayelsa West Senatorial District mobilized to the national headquarters of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Abuja to purchase expression of interest and senatorial nomination forms for Senator Seriake Dixon. Speaking to journalists at the Wadata Plaza, Deputy Speaker of the Bayelsa State House of Assembly representing Ekirimo Constituency 3, observed that it was the collective decision of political stakeholders in Bayelsa West Senatorial District.
Keremo Local Government Council area have unanimously resolved that we are using our personal money to purchase this form for Ernest Seriake Dixon to go for the Senate for the second term.
Having purchased the forms, a delegation of stakeholders including leaders of PDP caucus in Ekirimo and Sagbama local government areas, chairmen of Ekirimo and Sagbama local government areas, 7 commissioners and other political appointees paid a solidarity visit to Senator Seriake Dixon. The expression of interest and nomination forms were formally handed to Senator Seriake Dixon by Chairman of the Bayelsa State Civil Service Commission, Dr. Peter Singabele. Speaking to Inside the Niger Delta, Vice Chairman of Ekirimo Local Government Area, Randy Awolowo, and Honorable David Nana Kumo from Sagbama submitted that they were rooting for Senator Seriake Dixon based on his personality as a rallying force with proven capacity to galvanize more votes for the PDP in the 2023 general elections. Both politicians are convinced that Senator Seriake Dixon is a very strong voice in the Senate and is capable of attracting development to Bayelsa West Senatorial District and the rest of the Niger Delta.
His leadership quality made the people of Ekirimo and Sagbama to want him back for the Senate.
And we need people with experience that can attract a lot of development to our senatorial district. Not just our senatorial district, but the Bayelsa State and the Niger Delta as a whole. When he speaks in the National Assembly, people listen.
In his response, Senator Seriake Dixon declared that he was available to recontest the Bayelsa West senatorial seat based on a popular demand. The former governor of Bayelsa State said he was not unaware of colliding interests in the Bayelsa West senatorial seat in 2023, but noted that his aspiration would be consummated through consultations and engagements with all relevant stakeholders.
Continue to engage, continue to persuade even the few who may disagree. Because in politics, there's always disagreement. Our brand is non-violence. And so to everyone out there, get ready. Our leaders will be on their way. They are already in touch with most of you. We will intensify consultations. Bayelsa West is the safest seat. This is the safest senatorial seat for PDP in the whole country. The whole country. And we will, after some time, and these formalities, we will come to join our leaders back home to get more in touch with our people and get ready for the primaries and the general election.
In actualizing their political aspirations, Senator Seriake Dixon emphasized the need for all political office seekers in 2023 to channel their aspirations through existing courses of the PDP under the guidance of the new leader of the PDP in Bayelsa State, Governor Doye Diri, to ensure a rancor-free electoral process in the next political dispensation.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Still staying with Bayelsa West Senatorial District, a political pressure group known as Concerned Sagbama Ekirimo Citizens has called on immediate past governor of Bayelsa State and current senator representing Bayelsa West Senatorial District in the Senate, His Excellency Henry Seriake Dixon, and his followers to respect the zoning principle that allows the senatorial and House of Representatives seats rotate at intervals between Sagbama and Ekirimo local government areas. Our correspondent reports that the call was made shortly after some political leaders in Bayelsa West Senatorial District purchased expression of interest and nomination forms to enable Senator Seriake Dixon return to the Red Chamber.
There was a new twist to the zoning controversy in Bayelsa West Senatorial District when recently political leaders and their supporters from Ekirimo and Sagbama local government areas of Bayelsa State paid a solidarity visit to Senator Dixon and presented expression of interest and senatorial nomination forms to him, urging the former governor to join the senatorial race. Reacting to this development, a political pressure group known as Sagbama Ekirimo Concerned Citizens has described it as a deliberate move to jettison a zoning principle that distributes the senatorial and House of Representatives seats at regular intervals between Ekirimo and Sagbama local government areas. Convener of Concerned Sagbama Ekirimo Citizens, Prince Bodi Arerebo, maintains that it is now the turn of Ekirimo to produce the next occupant of the Bayelsa West senatorial seat, which Senator Seriake Dixon now occupies.
If we have completed our 8 years in the spirit of fair sharing, unity, love, sincerity, the best thing for us to do is to give it to the other local government, not to cause acrimony. And so those people who are supporting our former governor and our present senator should please, in the spirit of fairness, desist from this act. And let us give this Senate to the Okirimo people who are due for it.
The Bayelsa West senatorial seat became vacant when its former occupant, Senator Lawrence Erujakpo from Sagbama, was elected and subsequently sworn into office as Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State. In December 2020, immediate past Governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Seriake Dixon, also from Sagbama, won the Bayelsa West senatorial by-election. Perekemek Bodo, a member of Concerned Sagbama Ekirimo Citizens, disapproves of Senator Dixon's planned return to the Senate.
How can you, as a single human being, you brought out your PA from nowhere and make him a commissioner of works? You never stopped there. The game was he on. You made that man again a senator to hold that seat for you. And when your time is due, you left and the man pull out, you pull him out and make him a deputy governor. Then you now occupy the seat. But he also made a statement that he is coming to complete the tenure of Erujakpo. But today, you are fighting to go back. The truth is that Sagbama Ekirimo, there is a zoning system. And that zoning system stands.
Another member of Concerned Sagbama Ekirimo Citizens, Barrister Michael Emiomokumo, advises the electorate to uphold the time-honored zoning principle in 2023 in the collective interest of Bayelsa West Senatorial District.
The electorate in both Ekirimo and Sagbama knows that it is a zoning system. And so if he feels like contesting, they want to undermine the electorate, on the day of the election, the electorate will determine whom they want to vote for.
This appears to be the chaotic stage of a conflict that will likely escalate in no distant time. Given this scenario, all parties to the zoning controversy in Bayelsa West Senatorial District are expected to find a common ground in anticipation of peaceful polls come 2023.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Senior pastor of Salvation Ministries, one of the fastest growing churches in the world, with headquarters in Port Harcourt, Pastor David Ibiomie has urged Nigerians to vote wisely in order to enthrone good governance in 2023. Pastor David Ibiomie gave the charge in a message to his congregation recently in Port Harcourt.
David Ibiomie, an outspoken preacher of the gospel who pastors Salvation Ministries, one of the fastest growing churches in the world, is known for his forthright views on national issues. Recently, the Christian cleric admonished his congregation and indeed all Nigerians to liberate themselves from the shackles of poor leadership by voting for the right candidates in the 2023 general elections.
Don't vote party again in Nigeria. Vote people with vision. All the parties have disappointed us. Now what we need is not party, not religion, not tribe. What we need is a visionary to bring Nigeria out of the woods. No politician should be voted. Vote a statesman. A statesman think of the next generation. A politician think of 2023. Anybody think of 2023 is a politician. He will win, he will destroy you. Anybody coming out should think of what will happen to the generation after me. That is the kind of person you should vote.
As a preacher, author and televangelist, Pastor Ibiomie focuses on building the spiritual lives of millions across the globe to pull them out of the many distressing situations afflicting humanity. Through divine impartation, he has successfully transformed many lives at Salvation Ministries, the home of success, in over 2 decades. In a bid to promote the welfare of Nigerians, including non-members of Salvation Ministries, the servant of God has been committed to many philanthropic endeavors, such as building of schools and a home for the elderly in Port Harcourt. In the last 5 years, Pastor David Ibiomie has made regular charitable donations to institutions of higher learning, hospitals, and victims of natural disasters in the Niger Delta. Deeply worried by the worsening socio-economic circumstances of Nigerians, the preacher in his recent message enjoins them to use the power of their votes to choose leaders who are genuinely interested in improving their lots. To this end, he wants the ordinary people to shun political wheeler dealers whose stock in trade is votes buying during elections.
Don't collect bribe to vote. Vote your conscience. Vote who is qualified, not who they give you money. If you collect money, you go pay with the money. You are a child of God, you have conscience. Don't collect money.
The admonition of Pastor David Ibiomie in the build-up to the 2023 general elections is not without basis. Since Nigeria's return to democratic governance in 1999, electoral victories have been the exclusive preserve in most cases of the highest bidders who are able to provide cash, food, and other valuables in return for votes. Even though the practice of vote buying is an offense under the country's electoral law, it has been a constantly recurring practice that continues to inflate the cost of elections. Additionally, the practice of cash for votes during elections has given rise to state capture and bad governance over the years, particularly in the Niger Delta where poverty remains widespread. Pastor David Ibiomie strongly believes that the onus lies with the masses to avoid a repeat of bad history and chart a new course that will better their lives in 2023 and beyond.
Inside the Niger Delta.
And with that report, we draw the curtain on the program. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region, will be back same time, same station next week. Until then, you can follow us on our social media handles showing right now on your screen. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDNTV Nigeria to follow these stories and many more. Until next week, I am Mahmoud Akuga thanking you for staying tuned. Bye for now.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from PlusTvAfrica.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Tonight on Plus TV News, President Buhari loads professionals for roles in building economy. Group warns INEC against fraudulent elections in 2023. IGP appoints new CPs to curb gunmen attacks in Imo, Kaduna, others. DR Congo signs East African Community Treaty, officially joining the bloc. Hello and welcome. Good evening, I am Tolu Ojoumi, and this is News Now. President Muhammadu Buhari today in Abuja received a delegation from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN. The delegation was led by its president, Mrs. Comfort Olu-Eyitayo. The president assured them that his administration would continue to engage experts to gain measurable and reliable results. He noted that professionals in various fields, especially accounting, provide the strength and framework for thriving economies. President Buhari noted that the contribution of the Institute in ensuring probity, accountability, and transparency cannot be overemphasized, urging more diligence and professionalism. The president of ICAN appreciated President Buhari and his administration in adhering to best accounting practices, principles, and ethics to secure and revive the economy.
For this very important meeting, I know the accountants are not very popular in most of our institutions because nobody wants to account for what he is doing. Thank you very much. You are an envious institution in the sense that it needs a lot of brains and discipline to qualify, which is not very common, and which is hard work involved in it is not a very favorable issue with us Nigerians. The less we work and the more we get, the better for us. I thank you very much for coming. I will demand a comprehensive report of your visit so that I can look at it because I very much respect your competence as social stabilizers and for accounting of our resources.
This is a well-deserved elevation, given that you have distinguished yourself as the Vice President of ICAN, served as a member of the Governing Council of the Institute since 2007, and chaired several committees of the Institute, which include the Finance and General Purposes Committee, the Technical Research and Public Policy Committee, Professional Examinations Committee, and the Annual Accountants Conference Committee. As a female president in a male-dominated profession, you are an example to our young girls of what can be achieved through hard work and diligence.
It is equally noteworthy that the Finance Act is now a regular part of our budget process to make the Appropriation Act realizable. We wish to suggest, however, that a more robust process be put in place to engage professionals across disciplines to determine budget and project implementation and to capture value for money for all government projects. When this is done, our Appropriation Act can achieve its true purpose and essence.
President Muhammadu Buhari has assented to 4 bills recently passed by the National Assembly, including Harmonized Retirement Age for Teachers in Nigeria Act 2022. Others are Nigeria Law Reform Commission Act 2022, National Biotechnology Development Agency Act 2022, and Federal Medical Center Home Establishment Act 2022. The Harmonized Retirement Age for Teachers Act provides for the retirement age of teachers in Nigeria. Section 1 of the Act clearly states that teachers in Nigeria shall compulsorily retire at 65 years or 40 years of pensionable service, whichever is earlier. In the meantime, civil rights advocacy group Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria has tasked INEC to expunge the names of dead persons and child voters from its voters register ahead of the 2023 general elections. Hirowa said anything short of this would produce fraudulent polls next year. The group argued that child voting and the presence of dead persons in INEC database would encourage rigging and vote buying by money bag politicians. Now, youths in the South-South region have vowed not to support the presidential ambition of Governor Nyesom Wike. Their decision is over what they described as a striking level of bad governance in Rivers State within the 7 years of his administration. Take a listen.
The South-South Youth Initiative in a media conference in Port Harcourt took a swipe at the current administration of Governor Nyesom Wike. They complained that he has only succeeded in sacrificing the welfare of the state on the altar of partisan politics. The national president of the youth group, Imabe Oscar, read out their position during the media conference. He threatened to oppose any event that runs contrary to the development of teeming youths and the generality of the state.
We are urging the governor, His Excellency, Chief Nyesom Wike, to put his presidential ambition on hold until Wike fulfills the promises he made to Rivers youth and workers 7 years ago. The governor has, during his campaign, promised to create jobs, empower youth, pay pensions, scholarships, and gratuities, as well as bursary to students. But as we speak, none of the promises has been delivered or seen the light of the day. Charity, they say, begins at home.
The youths complained that the retirees have been left at the mercy of continuous protests for their rights without any positive response from the government. They threatened to occupy the government house in protest if Governor Wike furthered his presidential ambition without fulfilling their demands.
Youth of South-South Youth Initiative, SSYI, are joining our chapter in Rivers State to say enough is enough. And we will no longer accept any event that runs contrary to the development of our dear dreaming youth and the generality of the state. So all this we have demanded in 2 months' time. All this, we are demanding the payment of gratuities. We are demanding for the immediate payment of pensions to pensioners. We are demanding 60,000 job opportunities. 60,000. We are not demanding, we are no longer interested in 5,000 job opportunity. And if the governor fails, we are going to do a reminder after a month from today. And then the second month, we are going to be ready to occupy
The youth group are demanding 60,000 job opportunities for Rivers people. They issued the government 2-month ultimatum to address all concerns.
Adama groups have purchased their nomination form for Governor Ahmadu Fintiri to recontest come 2023 general elections, saying that he deserves to come back because of his track record in the past years as a state governor. The Adama state governor applauded the giant strides of the groups while assuring them that he will continue to do his best if given another opportunity.
You have made my consultation easier with all the unions that have gathered today to support not only the presentation of this forum that was graciously purchased by my friends and members of the last council in all the 21 local government and 226 ward of the state. I will continue with the consultation across the traditional institutions, across leaders of the state, and across the mass.
The PDP chairman, Tahir Shehu, appreciated the group for the confidence reposed in their candidate, promising to maintain the tempo of good leadership if given the opportunity to serve for another 4 years.
I feel elated. I'm excited. Excited because at the time he came for the first time, we traded him against all odds. But with the help of God, the masses voted massively for him against the incumbent. And now that seeing the antecedent and the number of projects he spread in the state and the number of lives he touched, people believe by themselves, and including other organizations like the NLC, Traders Union, name it. They volunteer to purchase the form by.
In the meantime, former Deputy Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives, Honorable Lasson Yusuf, has been unveiled as Labour Party's governorship candidate to contest in the Osun July 16 governorship election. He was nominated and officially declared as Labour Party flag bearer in Osogbo during a meeting with members, leaders and delegates of the party in Osogbo, the state capital.
My angle in life is towards the poor, and that's why as alluring, as inviting other big parties outside APC, my inkling is towards the poor. And if you study my political career very well, the persecution I've been having is because I tend towards the poor a lot. If I gravitate towards the rich, I will always be their son because they know who I am. They know I have the capacity and the intelligence to run for any office.
In his address, the national chairman of the party, Julius Abura, represented by the National Publicity Secretary, Abayomi Arabambi, said the Labour Party is set to provide an immediate reconstruction of the political structure, economy, agriculture, and well-being of the people in the state.
The difference as of today between Osun and some other states is that right now, God is visibly demonstrating his forgiveness to the knowledge and gratitude of the now lucky citizens of Osun State with the election of Right Honorable Yusuf Flamon Nassau as Labour Party gubernatorial candidate in the July 16 governorship election. Osun citizens must now fully come to the realization by rejecting the oppressive and treacherous looters in the political party for scammers. The difference.
Youth empowerment, job creation, and such like must be given priority for any meaningful development to take place. This is particularly necessary towards stemming the tide of customs and smugglers' clash and other youth restiveness in Ogun State. This call was made by a former governorship aspirant in the state, Engineer Temitope Kuyebi, in an interview with newsmen. It was shortly after declaring his intention to resident of Yewa North Imekwa from Federal Constituency at the House of Representatives.
Custom incessant killing of our young ones. I still believe one thing is the missing point. There's a link that is missing, and that link is our youth empowerment. If the graduates are well employed, if the artisans are engaged, I can assure you that the level of smuggling will reduce drastically. And these are going to be my vision. These are things I'm bringing to the table. How to engage our youth, how to ensure our graduates are well engaged in employment, and our locals are supported to lay their hands on a meaningful job. You can see the massive grassroots support that we are enjoying. And I believe by the time we move forward and by the grace of God, I'm able to secure the ticket, it's going to be total winning for the party by the grace of God. There is mass mobilization for our people to get to the local government, to get themselves registered at the INEC headquarters at the local government level. And there's also an arrangement going on. We as a team, we are organizing some transportation for our people to move to INEC local government headquarters and get registered, and that's ongoing massively now.
From Ogun State, we move to Delta State, and the governor, Ifeanyi Okowa, has promised a level playing field for all members of the PDP in the state aspiring for any political office. This comes amid speculations of a rancor brewing amongst different candidates. Take a listen.
Do to stop individuals from dropping names. Because if that is what gives them advantage, there's no law that says that they cannot do so. But the governor has said that everybody who wants to contest will be given that level playing field, and that nobody will be witch-hunted, nobody will be imposed on anybody, whether at the level of the State House of Assembly, at the level of the federal constituencies, at the level of the 3 senatorial districts, or even at the level of the governorship. That he will not be party to imposition of any candidate. And in which case, the field is as level, as plain as it can be.
The House of Reps has resolved to direct the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, to suspend the implementation of the Hajj savings scheme. This was sequel to a motion by a member from Katsina State, Aminu Ashirmani, on the urgent need to investigate the Hajj savings scheme. He, however, expressed concern that the alleged lack of transparency and accountability in the scheme is threatening its survival.
It will enable them to be putting their money monthly after the end of the time that they wanted to go. But unfortunately, there was, altercation between NICOM and the Jaiz Bank. The agreement made to be done between them is breached by NICOM, that is Hajj Commission of Nigeria. That is what I'm saying, sir.
Their own act are now or have infiltrated into the funds, and which may cause hardship to the ordinary Nigerian who has contributed for his or hard-earned money. And that is why the House needs to come in to intervene, and which Nelaraba is here because he is also aware of the case. And I thought this could be, and we, as Nigerians who are sensitive to all, we should be protective of the ordinary citizen. This is the reason why I support the motion, and I want to beg that the House do allow the House to take the motion so that the Committee on Hajj can now do the investigation, sir.
The Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Education and Associated Institutions have extended their warning strike by 2 weeks. The non-academic workers had commenced a 2-week warning strike on March 27 over the inability of the federal government to meet their demands. The extension of the strike was contained in a circular addressed to branch chairmen of NASU and SANO in universities and inter-university centers. One of the growing trends which calls for urgent attention in Nigeria today is on incidents of rape, defilement, child abuse, neglect and maltreatment, and the like. Lagos State government is prepared to tackle the menace head-on through its safeguarding and child protection program. Plus TV News correspondent Ngozika Hoyachesi has more in this report.
In recent times, Lagos has recorded terrible incidences of murder and rape of vulnerable young children. The case of Sylvester Romani, allegedly killed by his mates, remains fresh in the minds. Records have it that the state has witnessed about 2,154 cases of abuse against children from the year 2020. In this auditorium are school administrators, principals, and head of schools gathered to discuss and share opinions on how children can be protected from all forms of abuse in schools.
In promoting the welfare of children and protecting them from harm, all organizations will seek to keep children in their custody safe by 1, valuing them, listening to and protecting them, creating an environment to encourage children to develop a positive self-image, encouraging children to develop a sense of independence and autonomy in a way that is appropriate to their age and stage of development, providing a safe and secure environment for all children, sharing information about child protection and good practice with children, parents, staff, and volunteers, sharing concerns with relevant agencies, and involving parents and children appropriately.
These school administrators are ready to hit the ground running by implementing the policies mentioned to protect children against abuse in their schools.
When I get back to my school, I have to call all my colleagues, my teachers, both teaching and non-teaching staff, and explain what I learned here today for them so that they too can adapt it into their day-to-day life so that the life of children will be saved.
I will get all my staff on a training, to educate them more on child safeguarding and protection policy, how to tell them how to protect that all the children that are kept under our care, they are safeguarded and protected.
The facilitator of the program talks tough, warning defaulters of the children's protection policies.
I always beg school administrators to ensure they adopt this policy. You see, you go get away with so many things. If you break the traffic light, for example, where there is no camera, you get away with it. And there are strong laws for breaking rules of breaking the light, the rules of the traffic light. There are rules, but until you become the victim, you will never know how bitter it could be. We have strong rules against the schools. If a case is reported and the case of child abuse, it is then the school will feel the pinch or the pain of not doing the right thing.
Children, when groomed progressively, are important to a country's human capital. Therefore, their protection from neglect, abuse, exploitation, and violence is an important aspect and should be given priority. Ngozika Hoyachesi, Plus TV News.
Now, the first ever joint event on strengthening Nigeria-EU cooperation on maritime was held in Lagos at the Nigerian Navy Western Naval Command. The event was organized jointly by the Nigerian Navy, the EU delegation to Nigeria, and the EU member states operating under the EU Coordinated Maritime Presence Initiative. The event solidifies the close partnership that has developed between the Nigerian Navy, the European Union, and the EU member states operating in the region. In recent years, relations have deepened between the partners through enhanced operational cooperation, joint exercises, trainings, capacity development, as well as increased information sharing and exchange have also helped.
This call marks, or let me say jumpstarts, a series of activities that is heralding the port calls by the Italian Navy ship Rizzo and then the Spanish Navy ship Saviola. At this time, the Nigerian Navy, I must say, acknowledges and appreciates the efforts of the European Union as we seek to ensure safer seas within the Gulf of Guinea. It is not the one person's affair. It is an all-of-government approach.
A key requirement for the use of this great common is the safety of the sea during transversing periods. Therefore, the Nigerian-European Union collaborative effort on maritime security is very germane. Working together is a sine qua non in the zeal to defend the seas by enhanced maritime security and safety needed to promote international trade, protect the environment, and guarantee use of the sea for legitimate businesses.
Let me start, of course, by acknowledging today the mutual helpful cooperation with the Nigerian Navy and our common vision based on shared values and experiences aimed at preserving security and stability. The Nigerian Navy has shown and shows great foresight in nurturing the vision of multilateral cooperation. You know, maritime engagements that include navies work together really to improve interoperability and collective capacity and capability.
The GMD NNPC Limited, Mele Kyari, has mentioned vandalism and massive oil theft as factors responsible for the low oil production in the country for the past few years. Kyari made this revelation during an interactive session with members of the House Committee on Petroleum Upstream in Abuja yesterday. Emmanuel Hehijene completes the report.
The Group Managing Director of NNPC Limited, Mele Kyari, says massive vandalization and theft of crude oil on onshore facilities by criminal elements are reasons Nigeria has not been able to meet its production quota in the last few years. He said these oil thieves have over 85 inversions from where crude oil is siphoned and sold to operators of illegal refineries. Kyari assured that in 2 months, the issue will be brought under control as NNPC are in collaboration with security agencies to arrest the situation.
And we're happy that this intervention is working and that hopefully in the next 1 to 2 months, we're very, very optimistic that with the combined efforts, including some other technologies, which I will also not mention on this platform, that will deliver on this project and that hopefully it will bring sanity back. Mr. Chairman, no doubt, it's a very, very difficult circumstance for the industry. And that is why, despite the good intentions and the provisions of the PIA, no one will produce oil and recover zero and put money back into the business.
Members of the committee commended the GMD for his efforts so far, but wanted confirmation that the 2 months timeline is feasible.
I am tempted to say we should tell the GMD to take a bow and go. Why? Because from what we have seen here, he's told us the efforts they are making to restore production. And he says within 2 months, there will be tremendous progress.
It is obvious that we're receiving some level of consistency with the offshore production facilities. What are the plans to ramp up utilization of acreages that are offshore with regards to your own plans in the future? That is one. Then two, I think you should reconsider the 2-month timeline you have put, so as not to be shooting yourself in the foot, because I know that from what you have put, apart from the control room, there must be monitoring mechanisms for those pipelines.
He assured members of the committee that everything is being done to ensure the situation is brought to normal.
The IGP, Usman Baba, has ordered the posting of new commissioners of police in Imo, Kaduna, Edo, and Adamawa in a bid to tackle the security challenges in those states. While Imo has been faced with attacks by gunmen suspected to be members of IPOB, Eastern Security Network ESN, bandits have yet to stop their activities in Kaduna State. At least 2 police stations have been attacked in Imo. since the beginning of April. Now, Nigeria Customs Service Strike Force Zone B has seized contraband worth over 143.64 million naira duty-paid value in its area of operation. The service warned smugglers to abandon the illicit trade or continue to face monumental losses and prosecution. The items were seized from smugglers in Kebbi, Borno, Kano, Katsina, Yola, Kaduna, and Yobe states. The items included 994 bags of foreign rice, 960 bags of Ire brand of fertilizers, 43 cartons of pasta, 1,292 cartons of soap, and 959 cartons of ladies' shoes. Meanwhile, the Federal High Court in Abuja has struck out 8 of the 15 counts against Nnamdi Kanu. The 15 charges, which bordered on terrorism, were filed against Kanu by the federal government. The judge, however, acknowledged the counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13, and 15 showed some allegations against him, saying that the trial of the defendant would proceed on those counts. Repairs on the damaged Eko Bridge are yet to commence after the fire incident. The bridge is still being cordoned off while motorists use alternative routes. Our correspondent Paul George reports.
At the point of the fire incident, the makeshift shops made from containers have been cleared out, according to the government's directive. However, some traders hang around under the bridge displaying their scanty wares, while some look on.
We have heard how some markets affected by the fire were compensated. The market is burnt already, and we don't have money to rent another shop elsewhere. We still want to maintain these customers we have here. If we are chased away from here, there will be no hope for us again. I lost about 5 million naira in the fire.
All my market done burn. Almost to something million. Nobody. Since that time, the year for government, make you know whether you go figure what's anything. Like now, we don't get where to stay. Even though you see money to buy market now, nowhere to stay to study anything.
There is no any manage, except my colleagues that are inside markets. When customers say they need something, I will go and meet them, beg them they should give me. When they give me, I will return their money back to them. We don't know where we stand for now. They should please, we are pleading, they should help us.
Toke Dosumu is the market leader in charge of the section gutted by fire. She appeals to the government for an urgent support for the traders who lost all their life investment in the inferno.
No matter anybody to buy loan.
Whoever gets a loan from the bank should go to the police station to lay a complaint and get a report. They should also go to the fire service office to get a report, put them together and take them to the bank they are indebted to. Some of the victims lost 60 million, some 40 million. We have vacated government's property immediately and the place cleared. But I would like to appeal to the government to have mercy on us and help us.
While it is not clear when the damaged bridge will be repaired, there are fears it is not abandoned like some others, as it is one of the major links into other towns in the state. Paul George, PlusTV News.
Yesterday was World Health Day. The celebration is over, but the message is not. Nigerians continue to call for the improvement of healthcare delivery. That's on Street Views. Take a listen.
They are improving unlike the previous years, especially in general hospitals right now. There is a good facilities and the workers are really on ground. And they have realized the reason to take responsibility on the job.
In general hospital, they will show you abuse you doing this and everything. Maybe government should help us to do the healthcare. I will like it. Everybody will like it.
Basically, well, I think they are trying for now, but I think there are lots of work to be done. Like
We still have dilapidated hospitals that are not really working efficiently. And but basically for now, it's still on maybe 50% of 100. In a scale of 100, maybe 50% thereabout.
Relatively, if you look at the healthcare system in Nigeria, I think to me, I would, if I'm rating it, I'll probably rate it 70% in terms of percentage. That's because there are some infrastructures we have in other well-developed countries that we don't have in Nigeria. And that's one of the things I feel government should look into.
I think there is still a lot need to be done because I've been in the different hospitals and especially the government hospitals. There are a lot of things that need to be done because especially the staffs they have the Nigerian public hospitals, they need to do a lot of things to correct their mode of talking to their patients.
Still ahead, Germany could end Russian oil imports this year. We'll bring you details when we return. Please stay with us.
Creative Industry Power presents one event, 4 locations, 7 days, 10 countries, 168 hours of fun in the city of Lagos. It's the Creative Industry Festival, C-Fest, from the 1st of May to the 7th of May, 2022. Get ready to rock and be rocked the creative way. For more details, visit www.festival.creativeindustrygroup.ng.com. For advert bookings and exhibition stands, call 0913-569-9010. Maximum security guaranteed. C-Fest 2022. Powered by Creative Industry Power.
Supported by PlusTvAfrica.
Life can be fun and rewarding, but it also comes with some risk. As in business, you win some, you lose some. And that's why you need to be wise in the choices you make. It's like placing a bet. Again, you need to be wise. Wise in choosing an innovative platform with the highest market options and highest odds ever. That's why Winners Golden Bet, the leader in online, in-shop, virtual, and live sports betting, gives you enhanced platforms that offer you the best chances of winning. For betting on live soccer matches, live dog races, and virtual games. Winners Golden Bet is your best bet. Instant payment of winnings guaranteed. Play online or in any of our numerous shops nearest to you.
Hey guys, be wise. Play on Winners Golden Bet.
Winners Golden Bet, the wise choice.
Thanks for staying with us. Now we move to other parts of Africa. Kenya's Finance Ministry has unveiled the government budget for the 2022-23 fiscal year. It's aimed at reviving the economy for them. The budget still awaits Parliament approval, though. Okoro Yatani presented a $28 billion budget aimed at reviving an economy undermined by the loss of hundreds of thousands of jobs that was caused by COVID-19 pandemic. The 2022-2023 budget, announced 4 months before national elections, also includes billions of dollars in infrastructure projects. These projects are driven by outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta, mostly funded by China. Meanwhile, Kenyan artist Tina Benaro is creating art that is accessible for people with visual impairments. Benaro paints her art using tactile code. This art is not just about how it looks, how it feels is even more important. Benaro hopes to raise funds for eye cataract surgeries for children aged 2 to 12 years through the sale of her works. Braille is a tactile system of reading and writing for use by the visually impaired. She had to return to school to learn Braille so she could use the writing system in her paintings. Now, the Democratic Republic of Congo is officially the East African Community's 7th member. Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi formally signed the treaty to join the community during his visit to Kenya. For this occasion, both President Uhuru Kenyatta and current chair of the bloc and the Congolese leader addressed messages of unity. Kenya's president said the DRC's admission means the bloc counts for about 300 million people and a GDP of around $250 billion. Now, the special representative of the Secretary General and head of UN peacekeeping force in Mali called on Thursday the country's transitional government to grant it access to the village of Mura. That's where a military operation killed at least 200 people in March. El Ghassim Wayne reiterated the UN call to access the town of Mura. A week after the end of a military operation on the site, the death toll is still disputed. Malian army says 203 Islamist fighters were killed, when rights groups say more than 300 civilians were killed in addition to the insurgents. We quickly get outside Africa now. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen led top EU diplomats in a face-to-face meeting with Ukraine's President Zelensky in Kyiv today. Thank you for coming, Zelensky said as he shook hands with the delegation, which also included EU's top diplomat Joseph Borrell. As they walked into the building, von der Leyen placed her hand on her heart as he told Zelensky about a trip to Bucha. During a visit to Bucha, von der Leyen said the EU will do everything to support Ukraine to take the necessary steps to secure membership of the bloc. Now, Germany could end Russian oil imports this year. That's signaling the urgency driving Europe's biggest economy to wean itself off energy from Russia following its invasion of Ukraine. Scholz was responding to a journalist's question about whether he felt a sense of shame that EU countries were paying Russia billions of euros for fossil fuels. Moscow calls its offensive a special military operation to demilitarize its neighbor. Ukraine and Western supporters call that a pretext for an unprovoked invasion. Russian oil now accounts for 25% of German imports, down from 35% before the invasion, and gas imports have been cut to 40% from 55%. Russian hard coal imports were down to 25%. That's from 50% before the invasion.
On the other hand, it is absolutely necessary that we understand that for the time in between, it will be important to get the supply of fossil resources from other places than from Russia. And this is why we prepare for being successful with this in the question of coal and oil since December of the last year. And we are doing so and working very hard to make this happen.
French presidential candidates urged people today to vote on the last day of campaigning before Sunday's election. Far-right candidate Marine Le Pen, who is trailing very closely behind incumbent Emmanuel Macron, greeted people in a market in the south of France. Speaking to the press in Narbonne, Le Pen was confident as she gained momentum in the polls. A poll today showed the tightest ever gap in support between the two rivals, with Marine Le Pen seen winning 49% of votes in a likely runoff against the president. Students, trade unionists, and Buddhist priests were among the protesters who took to the streets of the Sri Lankan capital, Colombo, today. Police fired tear gas and water cannon at the demonstrators who were protesting for a sixth consecutive day. Some holding signs and chanting, "Gota, go home." They're calling for President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to resign as food and fuel shortages worsen due to an economic crisis in the country. Two politicians from Smagijana, Balawagaya, an opposition alliance, said that they were collecting signatures to bring a no-confidence motion against the government. Rajapaksa said through his chief whip on Wednesday that he would not resign. Up next, food prices hit record high. That's in business news after the short break. Stay with us.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
He suffered equally confessed.
Now 500 naira they collect them. If you no talk, they go beat you. Now 2,500 they pay.
And in business news, the Central Bank of Nigeria has fined 3 more banks a whopping 540 million naira for failing to comply with regulations prohibiting customers from transacting in cryptocurrencies. This pushes the total fines for contravening the CBN's circular on cryptocurrency to a massive 1.315 billion naira for 6 Nigerian banks. Earlier, the Apex Bank fined 3 Nigerian commercial banks a total of 800 million naira for failing to comply with regulations prohibiting consumers from transacting in cryptocurrencies. The UN Food Agency says world food prices jumped nearly 13% in March to a new record high as the war in Ukraine caused turmoil in markets for staple grains and edible oils. The Food and Agriculture Organization's FAO Food Price Index, which tracks the most globally traded food commodities, averaged 159.3 points last month, versus an upwardly revised 141.4 for February. The February figure was previously put at 140.7, which was a record at the time. Russia and Ukraine are major exporters of wheat, corn, barley and sunflower oil via the Black Sea, and Moscow's 6-week-old invasion of its neighbor has stalled Ukrainian exports. Last month, the FAO island food and feed prices could rise by up to 20% as a result of the conflict in Ukraine, raising the risk of increased malnutrition. Big U.S. banks are expected to show a sharp decline in first quarter earnings from a year ago, when they benefited from exceptionally strong deal making and trading and funds set aside for loan losses being released. Net income for the 6 biggest U.S. banks will be down about 35% from a year earlier. investment banking revenues stalled after the Russian invasion of Ukraine in late February. Estimated revenue declines of 36% in investment banking and 18% in trading are the biggest headwind. Oil prices rose on Friday but were set to drop around 3% for the weeks as consuming countries planned release of 240 million barrels for emergency stock offset some concerns over reduced supplies from Russia because of Western sanctions. Brent crude future advanced by 16 cents or 0.2% to $100.77 a barrel of 0736 GMT. Texas Intermediate WTI crude future gained 35 cents or 4% to $96.37 a barrel. Both contracts are set to fall for a second week, with Brent set to drop 3.4%, while WTI is set to decline 2.8%. And that's the business news. The rest of the news continues. I am Jacinta Obiuko.
Entertainment news is up next. Stay with us.
And in entertainment, Ghanaian actor Chris Atto has finally broken his silence over the tragic death of his second wife, Betty Jennifer. In a recent interview, the actor revealed that he was never considered a prime suspect in his wife's death, and also said that he decided to protect her memory by keeping some information to himself. The actor tied the knots with the late American Jennifer in 2018. Kim Kardashian is taking the high road amid an ongoing divorce from her husband, Kanye West. Speaking in an interview, Kim stated that despite a split from West, they are always going to remain family. Kim also admitted that maintaining a cordial relationship with West amid the social media attacks had not been easy, but she remained a champion of him speaking his truth. The remains of the late veteran Nollywood actor Larry Williams will be buried on the 14th of April in his hometown Yala Unkum in Ikom, local government area of Cross River. The first son of the deceased, Femi Williams, disclosed that a service of songs will be organized for the deceased in Lagos on April the 11th and another on April the 13th in his hometown before he would be laid to rest. Williams said the family decided to begin the celebration in Lagos, where his father spent most of his life. Williams died on February 27, 2022 in his hometown after a brief illness, aged 81. And that's all for entertainment. I am Ifeoluwa Oshunke.
The very best in sports is next.
And now sports. There are plans by the Nigeria Football Federation to strip Asisat Oshoala of the Super Falcons captaincy. The Barcelona Femeni star took over as captain after Desire Oparanozie was removed amid controversial circumstances in September 2019. Before her removal, Oparanozie had complained about the unfair treatment of the players and unpaid allowances during the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup. However, Oshoala denied knowledge of the reported plan to strip her of her captaincy while reacting to a post by a fan on Twitter on Thursday. Oshoala subsequently retweeted other posts on her reported removal as Super Falcons captain. German tennis great Boris Becker arrived at court on Friday with a jury considering whether or not he acted dishonestly in failing to hand over assets, including his Wimbledon singles trophies, after he was declared bankrupt in 2017. The 54-year-old six-times Grand Slam winner faces 24 counts under the Insolvency Act relating to the period from May to October 2017. Becker, a former world #1 who won Wimbledon 3 times, denies the charges. The charges include 9 counts of not handling over trophies and awards and 7 of concealing property, valued at more than 1.5 million euros. A verdict is expected early next week. The Milwaukee Bucks are up to second in the Eastern Conference after beating the Boston Celtics 127-121 on Thursday to leapfrog their opponents. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Drew Holiday both scored 29 points for the Bucks as they improved their season record to 50-30. The result means Milwaukee need just one win from their remaining 2 games to guarantee a top 2 finish, starting with another home game on Friday against the 14th-placed Detroit Pistons.
Who can be very effective down there. White lost his dribble. Antetokounmpo back on the floor. Giannis on the take. Got a bunch of lifts as Giannis gets the offensive rebound. Portis in deep, double team, gets through and scores. And a little flex. And Middleton steals the end. With the rebound. Giannis with 5 boards, 10 points, trying to go coast to coast, and does, and one. Oh, special talent. Giannis up to make that line. Brown set up by Williams. There it is. Go Tuesday for their 49th win of the year. They've got 2 road games left on the schedule. Shot clock, no fouls to give. And finally, the ball's going to be put in play. And there is Tice. Oh, he missed an open layup. Giannis breaks away and is fouled.
2 years after the Australian Open Grand Prix was scrapped due to COVID-19, hours before the first practice, Formula One returns down under to an upgraded Albert Park and a warm welcome from local fans starved of elite motorsport through the pandemic. Plenty has changed since the Valtteri Bottas won the 2019 race for Mercedes in Melbourne, kicking off another season dominated by former teammate Lewis Hamilton and the Silver Arrows. Mercedes and Hamilton, meanwhile, have fallen off their perch, leaving Ferrari and Red Bull the talk of the paddock after the season-opening swing through the Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. The Ferrari's car's early strength and the budding rivalry between Charles Leclerc and Red Bull's world champion Max Verstappen has motorsport pundits raving.
That in the first 2 races we had a bit of a gap to the rest of the field, and it was head-to-head battle, and quite an interesting one to be fair, because it's been tied in all of the qualifying, tied in all of the races. We are within a tenth of each other, and it makes it for a great fight every time we are out on track, so we'll see.
I did enjoy. I think we had the battle also in Bahrain in a way, but in Jeddah we continue that, and I think we will see more of that, always with hard racing, but racing for the team and for Alpine, and you take that extra margin when you battle with your teammate, but arguably we lost a little bit of time by doing that, but it's the way it is.
Obviously, we're still hungry. We've got a fight to this weekend. We don't know how overtaking is on this circuit. The way that the track is, obviously, it should improve. But you never know. If we can get into Q2, that would be great, and we can. Any position helps later on Sunday. So,
And that's all from the world of sports. My name is Wally Scott. Do have yourself a peaceful weekend.
And the main news again. President Buhari has lauded professionals for their roles in building economy. Perhaps it's game up for gunmen as the IGP has appointed new CPs to curb gunmen attacks in Imo, Kaduna, and other states. Democratic Republic of Congo has now signed East African Community Treaty, officially joining the bloc. That's the news now. For more stories, please follow us at PlusTvAfrica on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. I'm Tolu Ojeumi. Thanks for watching, and do have a good night.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from PlusTvAfrica.
Yes, you're welcome to the most entertaining show on the planet. And of course, you know how we do it. We bring you intelligent conversations. Miles, why are you distracting me? All right, we bring you intelligent conversations. We bring you dope skills and of course, intelligent people, you know, to analyze and dissect the biggest stories in the world of entertainment. It's probably something you've been talking about for like the whole week. It's probably something you've been talking about for like the whole month. But guess what? We will be bringing holistic, you know, ideas and ideologies into those talks. And yes, you can join the conversation. You know what number to call. I'm sure that would flash on the screen real quick. But welcome to Tea Time on PlusTvAfrica. What's good, guys?
What's good? We good. Yeah, yeah.
What's
Pumped
yeah?
up, man.
What's going on?
Pumped up.
Why are you pumped?
It's Friday, yo.
Huh?
It's Friday, yo.
So what happened?
You know,
Okay, it's now Friday.
What's
Yeah.
the tea?
Friday, water corporation. What's your business?
Okay.
If
it is
Friday is
well.
You
always...
didn't put something in tea.
No, nothing. Just tea. That's
Are you sure?
No,
Because I know you're on break.
I am actually.
Anyways, man, guys, welcome. You can join the conversation by dialing on 0909-8408-408 to share your opinions on trending discussion. And today I have the, you know, the intelligent ones with me, you know, the bad guys or the baddest and all of that. Why are you touching
But this
your head?
intimidation is not fair.
What's the
It's
intimidation?
actually not fair.
What's that
Because
about?